Hi, welcome back. Welcome to all of you guys. Welcome if you were there just now for our previous live. We just looked at, what did we look at? We looked at controlling blood glucose levels in our body. We looked at diabetes type 1, type 2. Talked about how type 1 diabetes is when our body doesn't produce enough insulin, and when type 2 diabetes is the fact that our body may produce insulin, but our body cells are resistant to that insulin. So welcome, guys. Welcome if you are regular people here. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the follows already. Very kind of you guys. And like you guys asked, we're also going to do antibiotic resistance. We did a poll in the previous live, which we did about 15 minutes ago, where we had antibiotic resistance draw with diabetes. So now we're going to do the other one, antibiotic resistance, since so many of you wanted to look at it. So we're going to revise this. Sean just brought triple bio and chem bundles. I'm glad. Make sure you revise all those things that are on those papers. Those papers are going to help you achieve those grades that you want to achieve. And they're going to include a lot of things which are going to come up in your real exams. So very well done to you for getting those. Yeah, if you guys haven't already checked those out, make sure you do check them out. Make sure you're liking and you're following the live as well, so that you know when we go live. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll be going live around 5 p.m. During the weekdays, sometimes again between 8 and 9 p.m. as well, for another revision session. So yeah, make sure you guys are joining. Welcome to everyone. Welcome if you're new. Welcome if you're a regular. Do like the live so that other people can join. Thanks for the likes and thanks for the follows to all of you following and liking. We're going to be doing some biology revision, and we're going to continue with antibiotic resistance this time. Okay, don't worry if you've missed the previous lives that we've done. They're all going up on my YouTube. If you go on Tutor Chris on YouTube, I'm the first one that pops up. Okay, Tutor Chris, and then you can subscribe and you can see all the lives that I've posted on there for you guys, everything that we've done so far since I started recording. So everything will be up there. So if you do miss out on anything, don't worry. It's all going to be on there as well. Yo, lads, says Dot. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to all of you who are regulars as well. Nice to see all of you here. Like I said, we're going to do some antibiotic resistance for this live. So we're about to get started. Do like the live so other people can join us as well. And then we can get going with all of this. All right. Antibiotic resistance is a super important thing to know about. It's something that's an increasing problem in our country, right? Yeah, we should do genetics on another live. I agree. It's a very important topic as well. But antibiotic resistance is super important. It's a real problem. I always say that antibiotic resistance is probably going to be the way that the world ends, because it's such a major issue, right? The heart topic, people are asking. If you go on my YouTube, the first thing that you'll see is the heart revision. We did this over yesterday's lives, the heart revision, part 1 and part 2. So you can check that out there. It's already on my YouTube, okay? No, please just go on to the topic. Yeah, we are going to go on to this topic. Don't worry. We're not going to do anything else. We're going to be doing antibiotic resistance. Is it too late to go from a grade to a grade for combined science and maths? I'm not sure what grade to what grade you're saying, but absolutely. If you revise and you work hard, you absolutely can improve and get to whatever grade you want to be on, okay? So we're going to get started, guys. Just before we get started, please do like the live. Make sure you're also following so you know when we're going live. And I'm just going to say this once for you guys, all of you guys who are new to the live, make sure you check out my maths and science predicted 2023 papers on my website, christuition.myshopify.com. And make sure, if you are coming from my live, which all of you will be, use that code LIVE30. It's going to get you 30% off everything, which is already heavily discounted. So each paper will come down to about 50 or 60p. Hi, ARU. Welcome. I'm glad to see you here just before we start. So make sure you check those papers out. If you don't want to check them out now and you want to check them out after the live, take a screenshot and you can check it out later on. The link is also in my bio. Yes, these are predicted papers for 2023 exams. And they're based off my own research, okay? I've been a tutor for over 7 years now, okay? What are you saying, G? ARU? I've been a tutor for over 7 years now, and year in, year out, I predict things for my students and they always come back to me surprised, like, how the heck did you manage to predict things? It's just research, okay? I'm very good at predicting topics that will come up in the GCSEs because I know knowledge of what should be coming up in your GCSEs. So that makes my life very easy. All right, yeah, I do get very distracted. It's difficult talking and also reading your guys' comments, okay? Now, take a screenshot, check it out afterwards. Let's start with this topic, okay? Let's start with this topic. We should know that antibiotics are what we use to treat, so they treat bacterial diseases, right? So they treat bacterial diseases. So for example, if you've got gonorrhea, you might have antibiotics prescribed, and those antibiotics should help to treat that bacterial disease, right? Now, when you're prescribed antibiotics by your GP or doctor or whoever, the doctor will say, take these antibiotics for maybe, I don't know, twice a day for 2 weeks or something, right? So they'll give you a course of antibiotics that you should take. Now, most people, they'll take the antibiotics for maybe 5, 6, 7 days until they feel better. And when they feel better, they stop taking those antibiotics. Why? Because why the heck would I carry on taking antibiotics if I'm feeling good, right? Well, that's what's wrong. We shouldn't stop taking antibiotics because this is how antibiotic resistance comes about. So how does this happen? So let's say this is a body, okay? Let's say this is kind of a representation of the human body, just a circle. And we have this bacterial infection, and this bacterial infection is going to be these green dots that I'm going to put inside this body. So there's these bacteria, pesky things, which we want to kill because they're making us sick. So we take these antibiotics, and these antibiotics will be these blue circles that I'll be putting around them. And the antibiotics will one by one start to destroy the bacteria. There you go. They're destroying these bacteria, and we're starting to feel better. And over time, we feel better and better and better. And we stop taking the antibiotics. We don't take the full course because now we're feeling completely better, right? Most of the bacteria have been killed, and so we're not feeling sick anymore. Now what happens is these bacteria that are left over, they're going to reproduce. Okay, so these bacteria will reproduce, and they'll reproduce rapidly. So bacteria reproduce rapidly. And as these bacteria reproduce, what happens is they will have mutations, random mutations, okay? So they will have random mutations. And because they were able to survive the antibiotic treatment that we had here, they'll be able to have this advantageous gene, which they can pass on to other bacteria. Okay, so random mutations, and this will cause resistance to this antibiotic. I'm just going to put ABX for antibiotics, okay? And this resistance will now be passed on. So when this bacteria multiplies, it will now be resistant to this antibiotic. So it's now a slightly different type of bacteria, which is a little bit stronger than it was before. And it's now able to resist this antibiotic. So now you might pass this on to your little brother. Okay, so now your little brother might get this bacterial infection, okay? So now your brother is also infected with these new bacteria, which are stronger, better, and they're resistant to this antibiotic. And your brother might go to the GP and they will get the same antibiotic treatment, right? The GP will go, oh yes, your brother was here with the same bacterial infection. Here you go, take these for 2 weeks. And this child might take these antibiotics, but these antibiotics will no longer have any effect on these bacteria, okay? Because these bacteria are now resistant and they're antibiotic resistant, meaning this antibiotic no longer has any effect on these bacteria. So they do not kill this bacteria. So what will happen is the child might go back to their GP, okay? And the GP will say, okay, here's another antibiotic. And this antibiotic will surely help. So the child will take that antibiotic and surely enough, that one will work. But again, if this child doesn't take the full course, what's going to happen? Well, again, there's going to be some resistance in these bacteria. And this whole process continues. And this whole process can continue and it can form things like MRSA. Have we all heard of MRSA? Yeah, MRSA used to be called methicillin-resistant strep A. It's now called multi-resistant. Okay, it's a type of bacteria which we call a superbug. It's a type of bacteria, this MRSA, which is now resistant to most antibiotic treatments. So if you get infected with MRSA, it's very difficult to treat MRSA because you might try all the antibiotics under the earth and they're not going to have any effect on this bacteria. The bacteria are just resistant to it. They're a superbug. Okay. And so you could die. Okay. You could die because the bacteria will not be affected by it. And so it's really, really dangerous. It cannot be treated easily. And it used to be very prominent in hospitals. So now hospitals are very, very careful. And every single patient that's admitted into a hospital is tested for MRSA just to make sure that if it is present in anyone, it's contained very quickly and it doesn't spread because it's so difficult to treat. Okay, the only way to treat it is to try lots of different antibiotics and pray and hope that one of them will work. And that's why I say that I predict this would be the end of the world. Okay, because it's like a COVID, but it's a bacterial infection and there's no treatment for it. And the problem also is, this is paper 2, the problem also is that scientists are struggling to make new antibiotics. Okay, go back 40, 50 years, we were making antibiotics really quickly and scientists were able to develop them really, really fast. But nowadays they're really struggling. And the number of new antibiotics being discovered has slowed down significantly. It's very expensive and it takes a very long time. Did you know this type of resistance is a plot for an end of world series? I wouldn't be surprised because it makes sense. I didn't know that, but it is very interesting. So where is MRSA right now? There is MRSA in the community. So out there in real public life, there is people which have MRSA inside them or have MRSA history and are able to pass it on to other people. So it is possible to get it. Okay. And if you are infected with it and you get a large infection, you could be extremely ill. I've seen very, very sick patients with MRSA, and I've seen patients die from MRSA as well. So it is a very, very tricky thing. So what do we learn from this? Okay, what do we learn from antibiotic resistance? I'm going to show you guys a clip in a second, which is quite amusing. Okay, what do we learn from antibiotic resistance? There's a couple of things. What we should do is one, okay, antibiotics should, if you have antibiotics and you're taking them, should be taken for their full course. Okay, so if a doctor says to you, take these antibiotics for 2 weeks, twice a day, take them twice a day for 2 weeks. Okay, don't cut them short because this could lead to antibiotic resistance. What else should be done? Okay, people, the public, should be educated, like I am to you guys now, should be educated about dangers of antibiotic resistance. That's another thing that should happen. And 3, probably most importantly, is the people with the power, the people with the knowledge should also be smart, right? So 3, doctors should stop over prescribing antibiotics. If they're not necessary, don't prescribe them, right? If a patient's going to get better without antibiotics, they don't need them, right? Let them get better through their own immune system. Okay, antibiotics should only be prescribed when the patient's really ill or when they really need them because they're really, really struggling. So when they're too ill. Okay, and this is super, super important. Okay, so don't worry if you did miss out on what we've spoken about so far. It is going up on my YouTube. Tutor Chris is my YouTube account. Okay, I can see there's 70 of you that have subscribed already. So there's a few people subscribing and all the lives are going up there. So if you've missed something, yes, this is part of exams. You should know how to you should be able to talk about antibiotics. And I'm going to put on this video for you guys. It's a very quick one. It's a song. The government is now realizing that we should be, it's 30 seconds. The government is now starting to realize that antibiotic resistance, is a real problem. And they're now trying to educate the public. But in my opinion, it's too little, too late. They should be educating people a lot. They should have been a lot earlier. If you kill bacteria once with antibiotics and get infected will the same antibiotics work? Yeah, if the bacteria hasn't developed resistance, yes, they will work. Let's have a look at this.
Antibiotics, we're wonderful pills, but don't ever think we'll cure all of your ills. For the cold, got the flu, feeling under the weather. That'll be a virus, we can't make that better. Take us for the wrong thing, that's dangerous to do. When you really need us, we could stop working for you. So please don't end up paying the price. Always take your doctor's advice.
There you go. So yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Is this UK drill? Yeah, this is UK drill. This is made by the Public Health England government scheme. It was released, 6 years ago, but even then, too little, too late. MRSA was already very powerful. Yeah, it's like a rap, isn't it? But there you go. So you know a little bit about antibiotic resistance. You know a lot about antibiotic resistance now. We need to start developing new antibiotics. I'm not putting drill on now. Maybe after the live. We know about MRSA. We know about the dangers of MRSA. We know how antibiotic resistance comes about. And those are all really important things and things that we should be able to discuss in exams. Okay. So well done to all of you for coming to this live. I'm glad we were able to go through all of this. I'm glad we've covered another topic. Again, this will also be going on my live. So don't worry if you've missed it. I said just now it's going to go up on my live. I meant it's going to go up on my YouTube. So don't worry if you've missed it. Make sure you guys follow so that you know when we're going on our next live. And I'll see you guys in a short while. So it's another topic that we've covered, another topic mastered. And hopefully you go to sleep with a little bit more knowledge. And well done all of you. My YouTube, if you go onto my YouTube, it's Tutor Chris. If you type in Tutor Chris, like that into your YouTube account, you'll find me. I come up at the top. Okay. And you'll see all my videos here. So all the lives go up on my YouTube and including today's lives. Today we covered antibiotic resistance and earlier we covered diabetes and blood sugar concentrations. I'm not going to stream again today. This is the last one for today. So that is it. Okay. Well done, all of you. Yes, you can make antibiotics for mutated bacteria. Absolutely. The problem is, one, it's expensive to develop new antibiotics. And two, it takes a very long time and it's very tricky. Okay. It's like inventing something new. It can be very tricky to make things that work. So yes, tomorrow there'll be another live at 5 p.m. So I'll see you guys then. 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. Can't remember. So yeah, well done, guys. We are finishing up now. In the meantime, make sure you go check out my website, christuition.myshopify.com, where you'll find all of the GCSE predicted papers there. So check those out and make sure you use the code LIVE30, which will bring them all down to about 50, 60p each. So check those out, get revising, get working hard. Genetics tomorrow sounds like a plan to me. See you guys then. Have a good rest of your evening and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care, guys. Keep working hard and get some good sleep tonight. There you go. £2.40 off. Yeah, it's very good. Good night. Good night, guys. See you guys in a bit. Good night, guys.